Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's Theresa here, and I am working on day 13 in my 2021 October daily album. And so I'm really excited about today's process video, and I think you're going to love it. And so the story, or what I'm featuring today, are these fun little boo masks. Somewhere between September and October of last year, we picked these up. They were probably at Michael's, and I put those in the dining room with our little candy bar and just had them out so that we could play with them off and on throughout the season and just have fun with them. So that's the photo that I'm using. It's a full page 7 by 8 and a quarter size photo of myself and Alan playing with these funny little masks. And so I had my page idea here was to have the page behind the mask, and so you could see our faces, or at least some of our faces, behind the eye sockets of the mask. And then I wanted it to like flip up or flip out or flip open or something, some kind of flip for this little mask. And so of course that created the challenge of how do you put the mask itself in the album. How do you attach it? How do you punch it? How does the mask get put in the album? That seems to be a common theme throughout this album, is how do I get this into the album? But it's a fun challenge to have, and I went really simple here and chose an older grid transparency. At this point, I don't really know where this transparency came from. It was probably a Felicity Jane December Daily transparency, or it might have been an Allie Edwards transparency. I'm not sure, but it was a simple grid, and it looked like it would be fun and it wouldn't detract from the mask itself. And so then I get to decorate the mask, particularly because I wanted to cover up the back of it. And so, of course, I was left with the little tabs where the wood rod was. And so I took the little rod out and cut that little tab off as best I could. And then that leaves the back that I can cover somehow. And I also wanted to have, of course, I wanted to have a little spot for my journaling. So I pulled this older journal card from a cut apart sheet from Simple Stories here. And one of the reasons why I picked that one was because it sort of already looks pieced together, like paper piecing. And at the 4 by 6 inch size, it wasn't quite large enough to cover the mask itself. So I'm going to have to piece a little bit more behind it. And so that's what I'm going to work on doing here. And so here's how it goes down. The 4 by 6 journal card isn't big enough, so I pulled in this other pattern paper. This pattern paper is the B side of this really cute little color paper that was from the stamp market from a couple of years ago. And so you can see here how I'm trying to kind of piece this together, and I want that seam to be behind the journal card as much as possible. And that means that I'm going to have to cut out all of these pattern papers to fit behind there. And so I'm going to use my X-Acto knife here, and I'm going to speed this part up. It did take me a while to do this, and I want to just say that my skills with these X-Acto knives is not the greatest, especially on curved things, but let me give you some little words of advice if you try anything similar to this. One is keep your fingers clear because the blades are sharp, but also don't try to go through the entire pattern paper in one swipe of the blade. Use light pressure and go over each stroke several times in order to get through your pattern paper. And I did mess up in a couple of places. Full disclosure there. I messed up in a few places, but overall it turned out really cute. And it was a process. I will tell you that I trimmed a lot of this. I trimmed a lot of the video that came from this process. It took me overall about an hour to do this once I had the photo printed out and the products chosen that I wanted to use. And so the supporting products that I chose, of course, the pattern papers are from the Stamp Market and from Simple Stories. I also have pulled some puffy stickers, those metallic puffy stickers, and a sticker sheet from Crepe Paper. And so those are from a couple of years back. So I think the sticker sheet is from Hey Pumpkin, and I can't remember where those iridescent puffy stickers came from. It's been too long. But at any rate, those will be cute to pull in and help create what I'm trying to do here. So I'm almost to the end and almost have this all cut out. And then I also needed to trim out the journal card here. And I just found it a little bit easier for this part to use my scissors. But then I've got to go and punch out those eyes as well. And then another thing I'm going to do here, remember back in the age of distressed everything, and we used our emery boards to distress the edges. So I'm not distressing the edges of the mask here, but I am sort of smoothing down some of those edges where the X-Acto knife didn't really afford the ability to smooth things. And so that's what I'm doing here, just to sort of correct the little problems that I had. And so now I've got to just trim out these little eye sockets real quick, because I did want that photo to show behind. And so I'm going to cut an X within those circles using the X-Acto knife, and then take my scissors. And what's helpful when you go back to do this is you'll see where I figure it out. Take your scissors up from the bottom and cut around the circle that way. After you've created an X within that circle, that will give you access into the circle that you're trying to cut and help make it a little bit easier. Now, a caveat for that, if you're left-handed, you may have to have a different way of doing that, because cutting is different for left-handed people. So my apologies for that. I am very much right-handed. I live with left-handed people. And so my sympathies to you on the whole scissor issue. So moving forward, I almost forgot here that I was going to put this on the transparency. And here's where I'm like, oh, wait, I got to put this on the transparency instead of on the journaling card. So it worked out great. Here's the transparency. And then I can go ahead and adhere the journal card to the transparency and keep moving as I intended. And it really did turn out cute. This was a lot of fun to put together. I've been excited about this page for a long time, and was curious about how it would end up. So good news, it made me really happy, and I hope that you're inspired by it too. I think it's especially fun to try to incorporate the products that you're using during that time and to document that as well. And so you can see how I did my journaling. Whoops, I still have a little tiny spot underneath the nose there. And that was a great little space for my journaling there. And then I have these little spots to either side of the journaling. And so here come the iridescent puffy stickers. And so those will be perfect for these little spots. They almost look like blush on the mask cheeks or stickers on the cheeks of the mask. So, and then the eek, that was the perfect spot for that little eek. And a couple of puffy stars, of course. And then, of course, I also need to, well, I got to punch my photo here. And I got to add a number. And so this is day 13, and I'm like trying to figure out, do I want to do, in my head, trying to figure out, do I want to do, what numbers do I want to use? And then I realized that, well, there was this little 31, and so why not use that for the 13? So that worked out great. And then, of course, you can't just have a number by itself. You need a little word art with it. I was going to add this little boo word to it, which incidentally is also iridescent, but it was a little bit too big for that number. So I put that back. And then I was like, okay, I need to do a little something to my photo. And so I added this little boo to you banner, just, you know, playing with the boo word and the boo masks. And I added a couple of little puffy dots there to finish that out. So thank you so much for joining me today. I have, of course, a full blog post that will be forthcoming for this day on Friday, and of course 2 more process videos this week. You can check out the October Daily 2021 playlist that will be linked below. And again, I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.